Rob Thompson, Game Plan U today. We have startup stories with Ryan Vena, so we'll bring him on here in a little while. But we want to talk to you about. Hold on one second. Look at that for update. So I'm from broadcasting live from my new location here in sunny Florida. Just you wait until this, it starts snowing out. November and December, January, February. I will have zero mercy on everybody up in the Northeast, just battling the snow again. So I'm in a place now where I don't have to even wear shoes anymore. So I'm loving life. Well, I put flip flops on every once in a while, but listen, I got a guest today that it was a kid that played for me in the Arena Football League, and we want to bring him out here and to talk about his transition from being a pro athlete, a college student athlete, and then transitioning into the world of business and being a really aggressive guy, both on the field, off the field, from business development to building relationships, all of those good things. Kind of how did he, reinvent himself through that transition and all the other things he's got going on in his life. But just a couple of housekeeping things, couple of things to bring you up to speed on. At GamePlanU.org, as you know, we deal with career seekers in the sports technology space. Those are also founders that are, those brave individuals that are out there right now during this crazy time to create and change the world, the way we watch, engage, and consume sports and sports technology. And these innovators and leaders in this space are the ones that are doing so. But we also have those that are interested in the business. When the industry shuts down, the sales reps, you're not filling stadiums. There's other ways that you could get into the industry, and by being part of the way that in the transition between kind of physically attending the game to digitally watching and consuming the game, these are the leaders that are going to be able to do that and do that in a way that's going to, it's transforming everything within the sports space. So with that, we've created a couple of programs. One is we have a remote internship program with college students that we offer, and it starts in October, goes through the whole semester. And the one thing about, especially with student athletes, is that they have limited time, but they have a little bit more time now without in the fall. But ideally, to do it remotely and do it in a way that can build soft skills is what we're offering. So if you go to GamePlanU.org, all the information on there. If you work with college students or you're in college athletics and you're looking for a place for your college, your student athletes to gain a little bit of experience, especially exposure to the sports tech industry, and work remotely from their apartments or dorms or homes or whatever, we're offering that. And there's also there's registration going on right now as we're bringing in a bunch of students in the fall. Then we have a high school discovery program. So the high school discovery course is going to be strictly online. We've partnered with Jem Kaler, who's the former chair of Ohio University Sport Management Program. Our angle on it is sports technology. So everything that typically is taught in kind of the intro to the sports industry, our focus is on the technology side. So esports, gaming, analytics, all betting, gambling, fantasy, so social media, new media, all of those things are kind of folded into this introduction or discovery course. And so we'll be rolling that out as well this fall. We are part of this startup community, this global startup community, and a place for our founders to not only get access to these college students that help them with branding and marketing and editing podcasts and all that other good stuff, but a way to kind of lean on each other and be connected to investors. Anyways, so I'm rambling a lot. Last thing I will give to you before we're going to bring on Ryan, who's getting back there. He put a hat on too, I see, so he's getting ready. Is we have a couple of different podcasts. If you don't watch them right now, we try to bring as much value and information and more importantly, to expose you to some people in the industry that maybe you didn't know, especially if you're on LinkedIn a lot. So maybe these other folks in the industry that you just want to be connected to. So we have those folks that we bring on within our podcast, like today. and the one that I do, Startup Stories. And then we have Mike Scharfenberg, one of our executive directors, does Interview with Influencers. He does that during the week where he brings on executives in the industry. And then Denise Zach, our other executive director, she has Mindset Mondays. Again, people from the industry, people that are interesting, leaders, business leaders, and more importantly, places and introducing to people that maybe you're not connected to before. So with all of that said, I rambled on way too much, and I'm going to bring in Ryan right now. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Morning, Rob. Doing well. How are you, buddy?
So where are you right now? Where is this location?
I'm actually in West Deptford, New Jersey, about 15, 20 minutes from Philadelphia.
Gotcha. So you definitely settled in that area. I think your wife is from that area?
She is. She's from Washington Township, which is just a couple towns over. So when I played professionally for Philadelphia Soul my last year, I was fortunate enough to meet her, and we settled down here in South Jersey.
Fortunate isn't even close to being. It's more like you won the lottery, buddy, and you just,
I did. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's take a step back. So, yeah, you mentioned you played for the Philadelphia Soul, which is Mike Jaws' team, right? Bon Jovi was one of the original partners of that team, and that team won a lot of championships down there in Arena League. But let's take a step back. Let's go all the way back to you grew up outside of Denver.
I did.
Right? Yeah. So you're a Colorado guy.
Yeah, so I actually was born originally in New Jersey, and then as about 5 or 6 year old, my parents were unfortunately divorced. So I moved out to Colorado. Great experience to grow up out there. It was during the time of not of the marijuana rush. It was very quiet, a smaller place. Denver was new to everybody, and turned out to be such an amazing experience for me. Beautiful place to live, fantastic area. And just, went through high school there, ended up living with a friend, and I stayed there, and I wanted to play football because I thought my experience was going better there. Played football all throughout growing up, and then through high school, and then obviously got a scholarship, was fortunate enough to come back east to Colgate University.
Yeah. So talk about that. I mean, because this is a big part of your story. You won a lot of football games in high school, right? Right? Talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I started as a sophomore actually. Started for 3 years at quarterback, and then also at defensive back. So we won a lot of good games. Unfortunately for me, at the time, my senior year, I broke my ankle literally in my fourth game of the year, and I didn't get to play the rest of my senior year in high school. Otherwise, I think I would have had a lot more of opportunity. To other colleges and universities. Be that as it may, I got a few opportunities and then ended up choosing Colgate based on really academics for the future. My father told me, look, you're not going to be able to play football forever as much as you want to, as much as we all want to, the guys that are playing. And there are only a small amount of folks that are able to actually break into the professional ranks and be fortunate enough to play after college. So we wanted to make sure that we were game planning for the future, right? And knowing that after sports, we were going to have an education to kind of catapult us to that next step. So we chose Colgate. It was an amazing choice, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life.
Yeah, I mean, you won a lot of football games there too. So you went from high school, you had a setback, right? You break your ankle. Maybe the schools that you really wanted to go to weren't knocking on your door, right? Or kind of backed off a little bit.
100%.
Then all of a sudden you land out of school. Colgate has a great history of good football, and you land there not knowing what's going to happen. And talk about that experience, because you didn't lose too many games at Colgate either.
No, I lucked out, to be honest with you. Ended up in a perfect place with the perfect coaching staff, with all the perfect guys around me. It really turned out, Rob. Started out, prior to me getting there, they had gone 0-11 in 95. I came in 96. The first 4 games of 96, we were 0-4. So they had lost 15 straight games. In the 5th game, they inserted me into the starting lineup as a true freshman. Something clicked. We won that game 44-27 against Brown University. I remember like it was yesterday. It was their first win in almost 2 years. And then we won 6 in a row as a true freshman my year. We won 6 in a row after that. We went to the de facto Patriot League championship game, which was the last game of the year versus Bucknell, and lost on we went for 2 on a 2-point conversion because we had an opportunity to win the game. But we won 6 in a row, one of the greatest turnarounds in NCAA history at the time, going from no wins to 6 wins. Only a few other teams had done that at the time. I was fortunate enough to be named Patriot League Player of the Year and also Rookie of the Year and ECAC Rookie of the Year. And then we went on the next year, won the championship, went to the national playoffs. My junior year, went to the national playoffs, and my senior year, we won the league championship, went to the national playoffs again. So we went the last 3 years. I ended up 31-9 as a starter there. So we'd have a lot of success, and all to my teammates and to the coaches. We just had a fantastic group of guys.
Yeah. So, then after that, you win a lot of football games, right? Then you're saying, I got to get a shot at the NFL. Someone's got to pick me up. Someone at least got to bring me into camp.
Right.
It is a popularity contest a little bit, and, you end up in the Arena Football League.
Yeah. So for me, if you could see me standing up, I'm about 6 feet on a good day. And you've seen me, Rob. You've been next to me many a time. So, I couldn't stretch out any taller than that in the combine stuff. So they marked me around 6 feet tall. I only went to a 1AA FCS school and, all this stuff. And even with all the numbers that I had, I broke, 13 school records and won 3 MVPs and all this stuff. I still didn't get the opportunity to go to the NFL like I had hoped. I almost had a shot to get signed on with Cleveland, but a coach that was there at the time ended up getting let go just prior to that happening because the year before, Corey Hill, as you know, my former teammate in Albany, he had an opportunity. He had gone into camp with the Browns, so I thought I was going to get that shot. Didn't work out. Ended up, again, Corey Hill, my buddy, was on some film at a different league, and Coach Zaleski saw his film, invited him, and then invited me as well. Called me and said, "Who's that quarterback throwing to Corey?" So I was very lucky to have Coach Zaleski give me that opportunity, and yourself give me that opportunity while you guys were there with the Conquest, and started out my about a 10-year AFL run.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, that was Chris Palmer, who was the head coach of Cleveland, who was
100%.
was my head coach in college. And, Tony Sperano was the line coach at the time. He was line coach.
And a former Colgate guy.
Yeah. So, there was definitely that connection there. But, we were very familiar with you guys. And, when we put the team together, Ryan mentioned Albany. It was Albany Conquest. It was an expansion league team, so we had nothing. And what the best thing that Coach Zaleski did, he's just a brilliant, one of the best, I think, in the business of player personnel. And he just remembers he got phone numbers for players, friends and coaches and parents and girlfriends. He could get in touch with any player in the U.S.
He's got connections, yeah.
Right. So both the smartest thing he did is he grabbed about 8 of you guys from Colgate, and not only just great players, but just great kids. And so we built a team around a bunch of kids that still had chips on their shoulders. Right, so they still had something to prove. When we looked at Ryan, we said, this kid hasn't lost too many football games in the last 10 years, And I think we put you into the game. What was it, in Richmond? Maybe you got into Richmond and we beat them for the first time. Was that the game that your first?
I think that was it. No, actually, the first game he put me in was against Rochester. Against Matt Durazio, who turned out to be a multiple arena arena football champion, who is actually still one of my best friends today. I still speak to him, ironically. But I got into a Rochester game. I think it was like earlier, late in the second quarter. Brought us back by halftime, and then the rest was history after that. Once Coach Zaleski gave me the opportunity, had a really solid rest of our couple of years there in Albany, and then so on.
I think you ran the table in Albany for us. You were, I want to say, maybe 24 and 5, something like. I don't remember what your record was with us, but
yeah, I think in 2 years we didn't lose too many games. I think we lost 3 and lost 2 the next year, or vice versa. Yeah, we had a solid team, and like you said, brought in a bunch of guys from Colgate, Corey Hill, and Alex Houston, Kubek, and Jason Mattis, and I think we had Brandon Tinson. I mean, we had so many good guys that had come through.
Brandon,
I just kept trying to feed them and say, hey, these are the guys that I played with that I felt comfortable with in college, and let's give them an opportunity. And you guys were open and great enough to allow it. So that was a lot of fun.
I mean, we knew every time we had the ball, then as long as we're in the range of winning, we know if we had the ball with 10 seconds left, didn't matter, we were going to win that game. And I mean, Corey Hill, I tell people this all the time. Corey had 188 catches, I think, for us, or 100 one year and 186 another year, and he broke all kinds of pro football records. Yeah,
he did. I think it might have been like 161 one year and 162 the next.
That's
and we needed the last. Yeah, it's still crazy. Regardless, we needed. I think the last game of that first year that we were in Albany, he needed 18 catches to get the all-time professional record. He had 17 going into, I think, the last couple minutes, and we made sure we got him the 18th so he could get that record. So,
yeah, that's incredible.
Amazing player, amazing teammate. Still, I'm on a text message board with him today. One of my best friends, also.
Yeah, he's the best. I just understand the GoPro strapped to his head when he fishes, but I don't know if he wants to document it.
He's trying to catch the big one and make sure everybody doesn't miss it.
No, he's a beautiful human being, but great group. So you went on, you played after you left us, you continued to play, and then you end up playing and retiring after you played with the Philadelphia Soul, correct?
Yep. So after Albany, I left. I was fortunate enough to Coach Costanza, who was our next coach after Coach Selesky. He got an opportunity in the AFL, the big AFL versus AF2. Played there for a couple years with him, and then back in Albany for a year, and then I ended up in Wilkes-Barre for 3 years, and then in Iowa for a year, and then finally finished my career in Philly with the Soul. I was lucky the last couple of years to get back on with AFL teams. Play in Iowa, Barnstormers, where Kurt Warner played, was really cool. Got to break a couple of his records while I was there. But just to play in Des Moines and play in an atmosphere that Kurt Warner played and knew, where he came from, that was great. They were fantastic fans. And then end my career in Philly, where, it was just a great place, owned by Ron Jaworski, used to be owned by Bon Jovi, and just, some great group of folks there. And then, like I said, I was very fortunate to meet my wife while I was here. And after that, I decided it was time to become a big boy and try to get a real job. So
well,
could have kept playing, I think, but I retired at 33, so working on almost 10 years now.
Yeah, that's a hell of a run. So let's talk about the transition. Talk about the transition from going from being a pro athlete. Obviously, that's over, and now you become a dad. What happens? What happened after that transition into the world of business?
Sure. So right after that, I was very fortunate to have an owner that was another part owner of the Soul give me an opportunity in the sales world. He knew that I had gone to Colgate, and this is going back now to what we talked about earlier. Once football is over, what are you going to do? So if I went to, Tom, Dick, and Harry University, might not have made a difference, but going to Colgate, getting the education that I did, and then, luckily I was able to do work, some of these sales jobs that I did in between while I was playing football. And he saw that, gave me an opportunity. Was in with a company called Futura Mobility, doing healthcare sales for a good 8 to 10 years, and did that again for the last few years as well, and some other jobs. I actually recently, within the last few months, got laid off due to COVID from my other position I was in with a company called Ergotron. So I stayed in that same space of the healthcare point of care technology space for the last 10 years, roughly 10 plus years since I've been out of the game. And then I just got hooked up within the last few months with a company called Phenom Elite, which does sporting goods, uniforms, gloves, apparel, gear, to all levels, whether it be youth programs to professional ranks, for football, basketball, baseball. We do all sports uniforms as well. So very lucky to now have gone from those into those positions to roll it over back into sports, back into football. I focus on football uniforms. I'm focusing on deals that I'm working with in some indoor arena leagues. We were the official uniform provider for the Arena Football League prior to it, disbanding over this last year. But now we're working with the IFL, which is the Indoor Football League, the National Arena League as well. We've got a bunch of teams that we already do uniforms for, and we're trying to work league deals with them as well. So it's come full circle almost, going from playing and then going through the professional ranks, and then obviously working outside of football, and then now going back into a career that I'm actually working with football again is fantastic. So been very fortunate to land in the position that I'm in.
What are some of the things that you have learned along the way, right? Within being in business, and those things that, you wish maybe you knew then, but now. What advice would you give to athletes coming out, whether the majority are student athletes that are transitioning into the business field, or pro athletes that are transitioning into maybe entrepreneurship or starting their own business or just being in business in general? What advice would you give them?
Sure. I would say, one, if you're young enough and you still have an opportunity to choose academics along with athletics, for sure. Number two, once you get an opportunity to get out, reach for the stars and keep fighting, keep at it. Always have a goal in your mind, or maybe have multiple goals that you have. What I used to do as a football player, this is a true story. I would get an index card, and I would write all my goals on the index card, and I'd put it on my mirror, or I'd put it on the back of my door. So when I shut it, or when I woke up in the morning, I looked at those goals. And I mean, it sounds corny, but it's true. I used to have, lead the league in touchdown passes, or throw no interceptions. Legitimately, those were some of my goals. So whether you do that in the sports world or in your career, in the real world, have goals in mind and in place of something that you want to do, and then strive for those. Be aggressive. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I wasn't aggressive. If I didn't want to stay in Colorado and play football, I could have followed my family back to New Jersey, and I don't know where I've been. If I wouldn't have, wanted to continue to play sports, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go play with the concourse with you guys, and so on and so forth throughout. So I think the biggest thing that I've learned is always, don't take no for an answer, because I always either started as the backup or, the guy that's going to be playing second fiddle. And then when I was practicing, whether it be in sports or in the career world, I was always, trying to show out and show these guys that I was worth it, and just get that opportunity. And then when I did get the opportunity, to succeed and capitalize on those opportunities. And that's the most important thing in my eyes.
Yeah, there's a good friend of mine that talks about there's clues to that are left with people who are successful, and follow those clues. And for me, with you, Ryan, was you were 6'3", and you weren't a guy that even had a rocket arm, to be honest with you. Yeah. But you just knew how to win. And that competitiveness in you, that fire in you, you can't coach that. You can't teach that. That is just something that people inherently have. And once they know that they have it, they're not going to lose. Yeah. And you have done that since you've been a teenager. You did it as a pro athlete, and you're doing it now in business. And I'm sure you're doing it as a husband and as a dad, and that's just something about you that, and there's certain people that have that, have that in them. And you're just one of those guys. You're just a winner. And so I know that you're going to be successful. Yeah, I know you're going to be successful with this business. But anyways, any final words? Any final thoughts?
No, that's it, man. Really, I just I thank you so much for taking the time to have me on. I'm with Phenom Elite now, phenomelitebrand.com. We do, like I said, all sports uniforms. I focus on football. I'm actually in the market now, so if you're talking to any young folks that are interested in sports and are looking to jump on board potentially with a startup company, we're in our infancy. We're growing. We got a foundation. I'm hiring about 5 or 6 folks throughout the country So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can hit me up on LinkedIn, or they can find me at ryanvena@phenomelite.com.
Awesome. That's Ryan over there. Ryan, it's been a pleasure, buddy. Good to see your
Thanks,
face
Rob.
again.
Appreciate you, brother.
Next time I see you, let's shave it up a little bit.
I know. This is a quarantine beard. Sorry, brother.
You're the best, man. I love you, man.
Thanks, Rob. We love you.
Always great to see you. I'm Rob Thompson. That's Ryan Vena over there. You're watching Game Plan U today. Take care and subscribe to our channel. It's just a little pathetic plug for you on let's see, where is it? Right there. Sports Biz Radio Network on Spotify and YouTube. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks.